Evangeline Chima. She is the founder of Black Mentorship Inc, BMI, an organization dedicated to fostering the professional growth and personal expansion of Black professionals. BMI was born out of her personal experiences as a Black professional woman in Canada. Despite having a master's degree in information technology services, diplomas in computer network, project management, and business analysis, along with numerous professional certifications, she was unable to be heard in business. Evangeline has been named one of Black Women to Watch, and she is nominated for the Women of Inspiration Award. She is a proven community leader with a tall ambition of diversifying the leadership landscape, and her dream is to see every Black professional shine and reach their full potential. And on top of that, she's also a devoted wife and mother of 4 boys, which I only have a husband and a cat, so I cannot imagine how you do all of that on top of a career. So thank you very much, and over to you, Evangeline.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Sean and Haltek, for putting this event, Halting together, and giving me this excellent opportunity to share a piece of me with all of you super women and men. A shout out to Dr. Hamada, Gail, and our keynote speaker, Lisa. How do you value yourself when those around you don't? This is the question I asked myself the morning of January 7, 2020. I had just gotten to work, excited to start the new year. I had a meeting with my boss, so naturally I assumed it was a planning meeting to plan for 2020 work. It was a planning meeting, all right, only I was the lone invite and the plan was me. I sat and I listened as the boss explained that the decision to lay me off had nothing to do with my work capability or work ethic. It was strictly a business decision. They needed to cut some people, and that meant me, effective immediately. I told myself this rejection was different. It was better than the ones prior, at least. They didn't try to make it my fault. So I asked if I could pack my things and leave with respect, but they refused. Though work or my professionalism weren't in question, they treated me as a felon and marched me out of the building. And it hurt. I felt rejected, I felt shunned, and above all, I felt unworthy. That's when it dawned on me, this too is rejection, one of many I received over the years. Day 2 in a new organization, I sat in front of my new boss, excited and eager to discuss how I can contribute to the organization. And in our first conversation, the boss threw in, "You know, you are not qualified for this position," and just continued talking. Confused, I could only muster, "Then why did you hire me?" The boss replied that they needed someone with a combination of technical and communication skills for the role. I had a bit of both, the boss said, but not enough of either. Really? Welcome to your new role, Evangeline, I said to myself. Looking back, I know this too was rejection. I should have picked my bag and I should have walked. No. Actually, I should have run and never looked back. But I didn't. Because I thought if I could prove myself to the boss, perhaps they would change their mind about me. But what exactly was I trying to prove, and who was I trying to prove it to? You see, the challenge for me in both of these situations was that I didn't have a value proposition. I didn't appreciate the value I offered to an organization, but more importantly, I didn't understand the value I offered myself. And in so doing, I took the rejection personally and I allowed it to impact my confidence and my self-belief. In trying to be everything the organization asks of me, I hadn't asked myself the most important question: who am I? What do I believe? What do I stand for? And where are my boundaries in terms of what I am prepared to accept? What these two lessons have taught me is that I am enough. In fact, I am more than enough. So I'm going to ask you today, are you enough? Are you strong enough in your own self-belief to stand strong no matter what the rejection or no matter how others see you? Would you say you truly know yourself? How do you let others know who you are? It takes courage and boldness for sure, but believing in oneself, believing in ourselves, and being clear on who you are is the only way we hold and keep our power and not give it over to someone who has no concept who we are. I came to this part of the world primarily to join my husband and to start a family. And that meant having children and providing for them. My mission was to be a good wife and a good mother. And this meant working to help put food on the table for my family. So I focused on doing everything in my power to make sure that I provide for my family, to put everybody's needs before mine, because a happy family was my measurement of success. But I got lost in the process. I was so busy being who others wanted me to be and expected me to be that I forgot who I needed to be for myself. And the real me disappeared. As women, many of us have been taught from very early age to put others first. That's what we do. That's what makes us good mothers, good wives, good friends. But does that make us good within ourselves? I've often been asked, how did you successfully sustain a marriage, go to school to study masters and work full-time with 4 children? You see, initially, I didn't think I did it well. Yes, it appeared I had it all together. But I did it through sacrificing myself and accepting rejection, because that's what I felt like I had to do to make sure everyone's needs were met. And it was a constant battle. But in fighting to create a better life for my family, it dawned on me finally that the best way to win for them, to win really, was to fight for myself. To be very clear on the value that I, Evangeline, added to the world. To know myself and be very, truly comfortable with who I am, and to stop trying to prove myself to others. I had to learn to stand up for myself, to truly be able to stand up for others. And in that knowledge, I learned that rejection is a choice. It could only happen if you allowed it. And I have chosen not to allow it. We are all driven by one persuasion or the other. The same persuasion makes us forego glaring instances that tell us it is time to move on. As women, we have been groomed from very early stages of our lives to put everybody first. So when that first, second, third rejections come, we may convince ourselves we are doing this for those we love. But we must realize we cannot support those we love. You see, our sons and daughters without first supporting ourselves. I grew up in a culture that demanded you respect your elders. I have many siblings, some of them are here today. And as the youngest, I was expected to respect everyone, which meant I had to watch what I said and how I said it, so I would not be deemed disrespectful. It was very hard. And as you can imagine, I have been in a lot of trouble with my siblings, even till this day. However, despite my respectful countenance, I have noticed the word bold being constantly used to describe me. My mom, bless her soul, would call me by my African name, sometimes pointing her finger at me in our native language, say, Ifeyinwa, you are too bold. I hope you don't get into trouble in this world, though. And my siblings constantly remark on what they called my excessive boldness. So when I sat down to reflect on my values and the qualities that make me who I am, the first thing that I wrote down was bold. And then research, what does it mean to be bold? And to my amazement, I saw words like brave, audacious, confident, assured. And all I could see was good. So I embraced that I am bold. As a woman, to deal with the challenges we face every day takes courage. To live our authentic self, it takes boldness. But we have been groomed to settle. So maybe you are afraid to step into your authentic self. Let me remind you today, it is time to let you shine. In my self-reflection, I discover that I am a mentor. Despite many rejections, when I look back at the many organizations that I have worked in and the communities where I have lived, my greatest joy has come from continually teaching, mentoring, and supporting other women to step up and grow and live their best lives. That's why I have dedicated myself to empower Black professionals, because I believe we women, we got work to do. We have to groom ourselves and the next generation of women to dare to know who they are. But it starts with us knowing who we are. Knowing yourself is liberating yourself. Sometimes who we are is right before us. And if not, where should we look? Deeper. There is no perfect you. There is only you. Should you write down your self-value proposition? Perhaps, particularly if you need an anchor to fight rejection. But if you already know yourself, I encourage you, live it. Tie your persuasions around who you are. It is how we continue to contribute to the larger us, no matter who you are, our age, background, or status in the society. Each of us has a part to grooming the next generation of women to know themselves, and it takes role models like you and me to show the way. I am still on the journey of self-knowledge. However, one thing that I know that is becoming clear is that my mission to empower people to create safe space where every one of us thrives, I realized is who I am. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Evangeline, I think based on what I'm seeing in the chat window, you've inspired so many things with your story today. I think one of them is going to be the boldness movement and the choices that we make. So thank you so much for sharing your story with us this morning and being part of the event. Actually have to share with everybody, I think it was last year at the Her Halton event or other Women's Day event that I got to meet Evangeline. So thrilling for me to kind of know that we started last year. That was then, and this is now with Evangeline sharing her story with this community. So thank you. Everybody, what we're going to do next, we've had these three great speakers, different perspectives, but still so much in common. And we're going to give you a chance to go into networking for about 8 or so minutes to just talk about what were some of the questions that were raised for you, some of the ideas, and what these speakers posed. So if I remind you a little bit, if we go back to Dr. Magani, she posed, how will you make it easier and more equitable for everyone? Gail talked about, what do you want to do and where is the fear that's been stopping you? And Evangeline, how much rejection is enough? And I'd throw in there, what choice are you going to make? So we're going to go into networking. Reminder, just click on an empty seat, chat with the people at your table, and talk a little bit about how this morning has landed with you so far. From there, we'll come back, we'll do another raffle and give you a couple of minutes for a quick break and coffee top up, and then we'll go to our keynote speaker. So team, if we could go into the breakout sessions now, that would be great.